you can very easily understand that. These two aspects means permissiveness on one side and second is the competition. We have overall integrated view of life wherein we speak about the four objectives of life. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. These are the fourfold objectives of life. The human life can be fulfilled when it is an integrated view is given by these fourfold objectives. Out of these three, in fact, when I say permissiveness is what is the one purushartha on the objective. And say competition brings out the other one. Artha and Kama. This permissiveness and the competition in fact can be equated with this. So there is excessive emphasis on these two aspects, that means there is some kind of incompleteness is there, over-emphasis on certain aspects which should not have been there. Not that Hindus, they also need the comforts in life, they also need the facilities in life, which in general sense we say Kama aspect. Kama doesn't have to be taken in the very strictest sense over there. Kama is actually facilities, comfortful life and like that. Yes, we also need it. And second one is resources to have that fulfillment and comfort and life. Forget the Artha aspect. Resources means Artha. Artha means not only money, but total resources could be called as Artha. So these two aspects are very much there, whether it is the Western thinking or the Eastern thinking. Yes. But when there is excessiveness about these luxuries and comforts and like that, and when there is no proper demarcation where the necessity ends and luxury begins, it becomes very difficult actually to have a very correct demarcation between these two. I remember that one Adhika used to say that initially it is all necessity, yes, we need necessity, and gradually the necessity turned into the luxuries, and we even do not know where these two things differ from one another, and like that. What I mean thereby that we do need comforts in life, we must have a very, all our desires, normal instincts and desire to be fulfilled, and for that all the resources we should have. But then of course we also have some kind of balance is to be there. As I said, the excessiveness of any of these two things is actually leading to perhaps a debacle, and therefore we must have this balance is indicated by the third, what we say, objective of life, which we have a very beautiful name, that is called the Dharma aspect is there. Dharma is the balancing factor in life that way. Of course, Dharma can be described in various terms and like that. There is no synonym, as we all know that. Religion is no synonym for Dharma. Religion is more of the ritualistic aspect is there. Dharma is something much more than that. Because of the absence of any right word, at the most I think perhaps they are using it something like righteousness and like that. That is called Dharma. But again, it is just kind of perhaps an oversimplified word is there, righteousness. If I were to go into the aspect of Dharma, perhaps we can, you might have heard that Annie Besant's name is very familiar to us. She was a very devoted lady who worked for the benefit of Bharata, like that during, say, the second decade of the last century. Around that time, of course, she was working with Lokmanya Tilak and like that. And she also was interested in theosophy and like that. Same time, very learned. I'm sure that most of us know her name and like that. So she had written somewhere that God has given one word to each country, and that word is such that it indicates the speciality, uniqueness of that culture or that country itself. For example, she said that beauty, this word is given to Greece. And when we can even understand the meaning, that's why beautiful statues and handsome, the kind of different structure they are there. So they say that the beauty denotes what Greece stands for. Like that. Similarly, other things also, for example, law. They say law was given to Rome. Earlier we had Roman law and like that. Not the present Rome and Italy, we are not thinking about that, but the Roman law. So he said that law, that term actually was perhaps reserved for Romans only. So Roman law, beauty for Greece, like that, and similarly for Egypt some other word, and like that she has given 2-3 other letters. Actually, one of the most favorite of God's choice was reserved for Bharat. And what was that? That was Dharma. She said that Dharma actually is something uniqueness of Bharat, and is absolutely no other country actually can stand for this. And for example, they have given the description of what is Dharma and like that. In different context can be described. One concept, as I said, that it is not as a religion, but in a context it is a religion also, but it is not only religion, it is something beyond that thing actually. Way of life also is very wide. Yesterday we had some discussion about that thing and mentioned that these are not to be equated. At the same time, we do not say that it is not. Dharma is also a religion, but in a specific context it is there. Otherwise it has a very wide term, and like that it is a balancing factor. And two very beautiful definitions have been given in our Hindu tradition for that, and I am sure that most of us are aware of that terminology. They might not have gone details of that thing, but Dharma, what is Dharma? Dharana Dharma iti ahu. That which sustains the order, sustains the society, that is called the Dharma. So those values, that value system actually, on which the sustenance of the society, which doesn't allow the society to fall, and that means which actually brings it up also. And both things are incorporated in that meaning. Sustaining the society doesn't allow it to fall, at the same time actually elevates the society. So those values actually which elevates the society, they can be incorporated in this term of dharma, that is one. So this is the one meaning is depending on the sustaining aspect. And second definition, I am sure again you might have heard, especially Shankaracharya has given that definition, which is taken to be very standard definition of dharma. What is the definition? Yato abhyudaya nishreyasa siddhi sa dharmaha. I think that much Sanskrit and Hindi you can very easily understand. Those value systems on which both the abhyudaya and the nishreyasa, abhyudaya means prosperity, the secular prosperity and the nishreyasa means what we can say very colloquially salvation, moksha, like that. Again here salvation is not moksha, but actually because it is the nearest term, so I am using it that thing. Moksha we can understand. So the moksha aspect, abhyudaya means the worldly prosperity, and nishreyasa is moksha. So that value system on which are both the abhyudaya and nishreyasa are incurred. So that value system is called dharma. So dharma has two definitions. One definition which is the sustaining factor, and the second definition is that, let me use that term, that is called the sadhana aspect is mentioned here. Yato Abhyudaya Nishreyasa Siddhi, that means actually on the basis of which you can obtain both these things, salvation as well as the worldly prosperity. That means somewhere the sadhana aspect, what we are expecting. This is indication by this third dharma. So both the, say somebody, one of our senior adhikaris, Mr. Babasaheb Apte. In fact, he was the early thought giver to Sangha only. When there was no Bauddhic department, Babasaheb always used to be for the Bauddhic department. So he has very nicely described these two things. We say both one is 20%, second is 80% definition. Like that. Say dharma aspect, that is sadhana aspect also, but like which sustains the whole thing. It is also an important aspect of that thing. So we can use both the definition, but actually what I mean to say that the whole